Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of English language classroom. Learners of class 12, how are you all? How do you feel? Learners, today we will do the 8th lesson from your textbook, English textbook Flamingo. The title of the lesson is Going Places. I do not know why the writer has given the name Going Places, we will discuss that too. And let me ask you learners, you are all now in teenage. What is special about teenage? We call you teenagers and you are not a child, you have come out of the childhood. From 12 onwards you are called teenagers and you are going to become an adult, you are yet to be an adult. So, you are in between. So, what is special about teenage? You think about it, this story Going Places by A.R. Burton actually presents the what is it, fantasy, celebration and thinking of a teenager and her struggles with people and the outside world. You also must have been thinking sometimes father tells you something, the teacher tells you something, mother tells you something, elder sister tells you something, you feel no, why are they so much of advice, people advising me, I do not want to listen to any more advice, I am an adult, I can do, I am growing up. This is what you actually feel. So, is it right? We do not know, and also you are not in a position to decide yourself on many things. So, this story is going to make you understand or going to present to you a child like you, not child, sorry, a teenager like you who faces the same kind of trouble. You will have to decide by reading the story whether she is right or wrong, and then you judge upon yourself whether you are right or wrong, whatever you are doing. Sometimes you want to play more time, people at home says and teacher says no, you will have to also study, you have to build up your career. If you do not do it, what will happen? This is what the story, the problem the story is dealing with, and it is a short story of current times, means modern times. What will you do with this story? We read the story, we appreciate the story, attempt to understand the story, then infer the meaning of the actions and the characters of the story, also learn some vocabulary and some grammar through the lesson, through the story later in the second part. But in the first part, learners, we will be reading and appreciating the story and discuss some of the ideas, some of the problems that today's teenagers feel. Let us read and appreciate the short story Going Places by A.R. Burton. I am R. Meghanathan with you, Department of Education in Languages, and with me is Kriti Gautam from the same department. Learners, you, me and Kriti together will read and appreciate the short story. Kriti, how do you feel?
Hello everyone, and I am really excited to do this chapter with sir.
What are the problems with a teenager?
Sir, there are a lot of problems because we feel that we are always dominated by our parents, and there is also a lot of pressure by our teachers, and there is also peer pressure. So, we have to score 100 on 100, we have to be active in every activity as well, we have to do co-curricular activities, then we also have to have a balance between our school life and our personal life. So, I feel there are a lot of issues.
You also dream a lot, means I
Yes,
want to
sir.
be this, I want to be that, my career is being shaped.
Yes, sir.
So, this is what today's discussion based on the short story Going Places. Okay. Let me also ask you,
Yes, sir.
what does it mean to title a story Going Places?
Sir, I think the main character of the story, which is Sophie, she is not very particular about what career to choose in her future. So, that is why the title has been titled as Going Places, because she is a little fickle minded and she is going places
I'm
with her
going to I'm objecting
decisions.
to saying fickle minded,
Okay, sir.
because teenager is vibrant, curiosity.
Okay,
She
okay, sir.
teenage child, teenage person, a teenager has to be like that. Okay, going places. If I say Kriti is very talented, she would go to places. What does it mean?
So that would mean that because of my talent, I would reach different goals.
Oh, so you will achieve different things.
Yes, sir.
That is why the author has titled it. I shouldn't have discussed in the beginning, but fine, at the outset we discussed it so that let learners understand. All of you learners are talented, you will be going to places and doing umpteen things, become scientists, players, politicians, artisans, innovators, creators. That is what the idea. So, come on, let us get into the story. Too much talk about, we have talked about other things, that is a good thing and warm up. Okay. Now, what is the story about? Is the story about?
So it's basically a story about a teenage girl and her dream, what she wants to become.
Fine, all right. Okay, learners, let me start. Let's start in narrating the story in tidbits, not in complete, because you are going to read. You should read it and understand it better. Short stories are to be read. Poetry is supposed to be read and enjoyed the way you enjoy film lyrics. Fine. Now, Sophie belongs to a lower middle class family.
Yes, sir.
In a very poor family in the European sense, not so rich. She and her friend Jhansi, they are coming out of the school as they were heading towards home in the street, and Sophie tells Jhansi, hey, I think I will start a boutique when I complete school. Then Jhansi was really surprised, and she feels, oh, it's a lot of money, you can't do that. Then Sophie says, no, I can make money and I will do that. Then what will you do? I will become a manager of your boutique first, any shop, and manage it very well. Then Jhansi was really taken aback. Nobody will give you manager post the beginning itself. So you can't do that. Then Jhansi says, no, I will make a good, you will look like some cartoon character. Then she says, no, you will, I will do good work, I will conduct myself, I will live up to the occasion and become a good manager. Then ultimately I would make
a lot of
money and set up a boutique and I will make money. This is what every child today, teenager in the world is wanting to do. But as she reaches, and what's the reaction of Jhansi for that?
So she definitely objects the idea of Sophie, because she feels that they belong to a lower middle class family and opening up a boutique requires a lot of money.
Fine.
So, and that's why Sophie also suggests that she will become an actress first and then she will earn a lot of money and then she will open a boutique.
And an actress, she also says an actress need not work full time.
Yes.
So, do one movie, one particular thing and make money, then rest some time and again the second movie, things like that. So, now as the dialogue gets over, conversation, Sophie comes home.
Yes, sir.
How does the house look like?
So the house is really untidy, in sense there are utensils which needs to be washed. There is their father and
the little boy
brother, Derek and her mother as well.
And the Derek throws the shoe somewhere.
Yes,
it's a typical lower middle class household in any country most likely.
Yes,
and because they have to take care of themselves and work in the factory or somewhere and come back, take care of the home. The child comes back from school, takes care of himself or herself. This is one thing. Now what happens to Sophie? She moves out to meet her
elder
brother. She moves out to meet her elder brother. What's his name?
Jeff.
And what is Jeff?
So he is basically, he has cleared school. It's almost 3 years that he has cleared school, and now he is an apprentice mechanic, and he is trying to fix his bicycle, which is in the garage.
Bike. Okay, bike. So Sophie reaches him and tries to talk to him, and she describes to the author describes the fellow, the elder brother Jeff to us. He said, what she says, it's very difficult to take his words from his mouth. His words are prized. It's like finding a stone in the ground. It's not easy. So he is very calm, quiet fellow in a way, and but he may have his dreams, but he never expresses. Whereas she expresses. Then she goes to him and tells him. What does she tell?
Sir, she is telling Jeff a story about Danny Casey, a soccer player.
So she tells him what does she tell him?
So she tells him that she met him at the shop when she was window shopping.
At the arcade.
Yes. And they had a little conversation, and she also asked for an autograph of Danny Casey, but because both of did not had any pen or paper, so Danny Casey refuses and
could not do it.
They plan to meet up next week.
So she tells Jeff.
Yes.
So what happens afterwards?
So afterwards, Jeff is really shocked to listen.
He couldn't believe it, no?
Yes, he shocked that I don't believe you. How can you meet?
Why he didn't believe? Because Casey
is a very famous soccer player and one of the favorites of Sophie
and the family itself, and then the whole English people, and because Casey plays for Northern Ireland, that is part of England. Then because of him, the team, United team, wins lot of matches. So now what happened? Now Jeff comes to his father and tells, oh, she met Danny Casey. His father, the father is in a way, not showing much interest, because he can't believe that, because such a poor family girl could not have met such a brilliant and great celebrity like player. So he says, is that true? He is asking. Then she says, she doesn't say anything, and the mother shrugs to pass a comment that, oh, it would not have been possible. But what happens later, Jeff slightly believes that she may have met. So now learners, if you read the short story, you guess whether Sophie is telling truth or a lie. That is up to you. I don't want to disturb. We don't want to disrupt your reading. So please go ahead and read. Now, what does Jeff do? He goes and tells her friends that she had met
Danny
Casey. So they started asking him, but now Sophie is really irritated, annoyed with her brother, saying that I thought that this fellow is intimate to me, and he also nurtures some sort of alignment, secret means kind of thing. I thought he would keep the secret with him, but he told. But they are all making almost making fun of her. Then now in the meanwhile, she comes back home, and in the evening the family sat together to watch the United, and the writer deliberately he is not using any Manchester United or something like that, so, some popular soccer team of Europe. So they watch and they were very happy, and the father says that oh, he is playing well. Then Sophie is happy and she nurtures her fantasy, that is, she will meet
Danny
Casey and go for a date with him. Then she tells Jeff also that. Jeff couldn't believe that. Then now the next day, the same day, they go and watch the match
in the stadium,
in which Casey plays the best, and the usage, he played like a past ghost, all the defenders, and hit the goals, shot, and made his team win. So everybody, and the father says, I am going to celebrate it today by going to have a drink in the pub. Then and everybody celebrates, and someone says that, oh, I wish he were in English, because he was actually he is an he was an Irish, he is an Irish person. There is some differences there. So, and someone says that he should play his mind at the shoulder, that means he should apply more techniques with his physical capacity. Then this is how the story moves. Then the father and she slips into her world of fantasy.
Yes, sir.
What does she do?
So she is basically really annoyed that Jeff, her elder brother, being a very quiet person, discloses the secrets which she told him, and she is annoyed. And when she is going back home, she meets her friend Jancy, and she is asking her that, did you really meet Danny Cassie? And she says, who told you that? And she is surprised to know that now everyone knows, Jancy says that your brother told us, and she is surprised. Jancy is somewhere really doubting Sophie that this story is not true. She has made up the story herself.
Okay, let me stop you there and ask the learners. Now, there is a question for you to think or reflect, that is, do you think that Sophie has met Cassie for the first time? She says that she met him in the arcade. Neither the writer will give you answer, nor do I. You will have to find out yourself. Fine. Now, then they watched the match. The team, United team won. They celebrated. Then now Sophie feels that she must meet him and have a date with him. So she takes the road, walks along the road, go to the end of the road and the hill station where she used to play as a child. Then she waits for him. There is a wooden bench kind of thing where the lovers sit, people who date sit, dating sit, but he never comes.
Yes.
She thought that she would come, she wishes that she would come, he never comes. Then she feels bad and she wanted to just splash beat the ground, and to kind of anguished teenager, and she goes, she walks near the arcade where she had met him already, and she looks at the clothes. Then now she happens to all on a sudden see him. Then she goes to him, excuse me, are you Cassie? He says yes. Then they talk for some time. This time also she wants to take an autograph from him. This time also she wanted to have an autograph from him for her younger brother, but he also wanted to give him. This time also he did not have pen or paper, neither Sophie has any paper or pen. So, as she walks, looks at the her father's bicycle near the pub, she was happy that he would not be at home to scold her. This happens before she meets Cassie.
Yes, sir.
This is what the story ends. Am I right?
Yes, sir. And so this is the whole story about a teenage life as well, because they are dreaming a lot. They are fantasizing about their favorite hero or a cricketer or a famous model, and they dream or fantasize situations that they are meeting them, or they put up posters, really big posters in their room, because they idealize them basically. And this is a story which tells us about that whole scenario in a teenage life.
Learners, we have read the story. We assume that we have read the story, at least we have discussed the story. Now, we have got some questions for you to reflect, that means to react on the story, the events in the story and people in the story. Kriti?
Yes, sir.
I am going to ask you on behalf of the learners, you will have to answer.
Sure, sir.
Why does Sophie behave the way she behaves? I am not going to ask you a question whether she met Cassie, whether she was right or wrong. No, people behave the way they behave in spite of advice, a cautious attempt to behave properly, right path, but things happen. That is what the nature of the world. And teenager is a very immature, tempestuous, lot of ideas. So, why does she behave the way she behaves?
So, first of all, she is a teenage girl, so she is feeling a lot of emotions. Secondly, maybe she wanted to be the center of attention, so that everybody.
But she never tells anybody, she nurtures herself.
Yes.
She nurtures herself, no, within herself some secrets. So, how do you feel?
So maybe she wanted to be the center of attention indirectly, and her brother, who is not talking much, the elder brother, she wants the interest of her brother in her stories more.
Okay, then so she tells she shares some of the secrets with him.
Yes, yes, sir.
And okay, now I am asking very typical question and difficult question both. Did she ever meet Danny Casey?
So we can't tell, but I feel that she did not meet Danny Casey. It's a imaginary story which she has made.
So she is fantasizing.
Yes, sir.
It's a kind of fantasy.
Yes, sir.
Learners, if you dream in the night, that's dream. If you dream during day, that is reverie. Then and I know that I will talk about dreams later, a bit later. What Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam also said. We will do that later. Now, okay, is she normal?
So yes, I can say she is a normal teenage girl.
Okay. Now, Sophie and Johnsy were classmates.
Yes, sir.
So, but there is lot of difference
Yes, sir.
between them. How does Johnsy differ from Sophie?
So Sophie is basically a girl who is a lot into dreaming, daydreaming, as you said, reverie. And she is fantasizing Danny Casey every time, and she has a lot of dreams about opening a boutique and being an actress.
Is it wrong if I am a teenager, so I will become one day? Sometimes I ask children, what do you want to become? One fellow some months ago he said, I would one day become the Prime Minister. It's a nice dream. You should dream. You should nurture dreams.
Yes, sir. All dreams are equally good. But on the other hand, Jancy is a person who is a very practical person, because she knows that the background of Sophie is not very well, so she can't open a boutique.
And at the end of the day, both of them will be working in a
biscuit factory.
That's what
Yes,
she
sir.
says. Okay, now look at the setting of the story. How does the writer gives the setting for the young teenager to dream of big things? And another thing is the hero worship,
Yes,
which
sir.
is actually problematic also. We have seen in our Indian scene that we worship film heroes. We think that they are actually really doing. We will come to that later. Now, why does the father, he does not show much interest in her dreams and all? So, is it typical of any lower middle class family father?
So I think so, yes, it's a very typical lower middle class father projection in the
Struggling
story.
for your life.
Yes, sir. Because maybe he's working so hard throughout the day, and when he comes home he's so tired, so he don't want to listen to any stories and wants to relax.
Fine, all right. Of all the people in the family, Sophie likes her brother Jeff more. Why? Some alignment.
Yes, sir. Sir, this is because Sophie in the story herself, she also says that he is a very quiet person. But being quiet does not mean that he does not have any dreams. There are dreams which must be inside Jeff. He is unable to share it, but he still has dreams.
And also Jeff has completed school and now more than 3 years passed.
Yes,
so
sir.
now he has crossed in a way teenage.
Yes, sir.
Adulthood has started.
Yes, sir.
That's what. So that's some difference, but she likes him because he supports her, and she also believes that this fellow will believe her reverie, fantasy.
Yes,
Then
sir.
okay, and hero worship. Let's take up. Like you know that Indian film heroes and some political leaders also we worship, and we of course worship gods and god related things, and in Europe we can see soccer players are worshipped, then some great leaders are also worshipped, and things are changing. There was a famous book by John Ruskin who wrote Hero and Hero Worship. So, what happens to hero worship? It has both benefits to some extent.
Okay, sir.
And you take somebody as what's it, mentor to follow and progress, but at the same time this filmy heroes and the what's it, pop singers. Once Michael Jackson used to be the great hero
Yes,
of
yes,
the
sir.
young girls and boys, and wherever he went it was like a, people were crazy after him. So learners, think about it, whether hero worship is fine, good, or whether we should be rationalistic, and we need to be, do we need to be rationalistic all the time, and do we actually enjoy the physical mental makeup of teenage? Am I right, Kiriti?
Yes, sir.
Fine. I am leaving to you. We will stop this, stop it here, this first episode of this lesson, and we have a task for you. We, Kriti,
Yes, sir.
the task is you will have to read the story once, twice, and some of the questions we have asked you about Sophie, her family, brother, and about teenage problems, and also about hero and hero worship. So, think about it, do your homework. We will meet you in the next episode of this lesson, that is part 2. Till then, thank you very much. Thank you, Kriti.
Thank you, sir, for having me and having this great interaction of the chapter.